going to get rolling. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. So I want to talk to you about what's up, Ruben. Good to see you, sir. And a lot to talk about. I kind of want to set the stage for what's happening in 2020. I want to set the stage for the announcement. I'm not going to make all of you kind of like hang on till the very last minute, but it's very important. The lesson that we're talking about tonight, and it becomes. I love Zin, by the way. Patricia's drinking a Zin. I'm drinking red wine. We'll just all cheers and get it started. Cheers to an amazing start to 2020, to an amazing group of human beings, to the Misfit Nation changing the world and taking it over. I'll drink to that. And so anyway, so I want you all to stop for just a second, and I want you to think, again, not from my perspective, not from my announcement, but from, hello, Amy, but from what you're gonna make happen in 2020. Because what I'm gonna announce tonight's been a long time coming. It's something that I did not expect. It's something that I never wanted to really do. But it's something that when you commit yourself to a specific outcome, that you do whatever it takes, right? And finding and having yourself a perspective. Like, we built a lot of conversation here. We built, those of you that are members of the G-Spot, which is the growth course, the 12-week business growth course that I built, you'll understand this. That's a framework for you to build in incremental improvement over the course of your life around finances. It can be applied to your physical health, can be applied to your relationship, it can be applied to your happiness, all kinds of different things. But what I want you to do is I want you to think really hard, because we're going to do a couple of special things between now and the end of the year to prepare everybody. I'm going to do a hi Kat, good. She just did 30 minutes in G-Spot, in the G-Spot group. But I'm going to do something special for Misfit Nation, where we're going to plan for 2020. We're going to sit, I'm going to do however my team ends up deciding to do it. It's going to be for free. Everybody can join. But we're all going to gather up together, and we're going to set some objectives for 2020. And those of you that know me understand the difference between goals. I don't set goals, I set objectives. Because with objectives and outcomes, I can start to work my way backwards to where I am today. And I can say, okay, now I can measure, right? I can say, okay, did I get closer to or further away? Because a lot of us are running around, A, with undefined outcomes, B, when we don't have a fully, clearly defined outcome, how are we going to measure our way to it? And then sometimes a lot of us, especially when we're in the world of motivation, or we're in the world of coaching, or we're in the world of consulting, or we're in the world of really wanting to take our game to the next level, what happens is we end up wanting to, like, we say things like, I want to change the world, right? It's common for me. I mean, it's even in my logo. Those of you that have watched the Bald Avenger logo, it says change in the world, baby. Change in the world is not measurable. It's not, it is something that I can point to and say, okay, when we're talking about rescues of little girls and little boys around the world that are being traded in the sex slave, when I'm working in the world of domestic violence, when there's a domestic violence occurrence every 11 minutes, when there's somebody that's dying of starvation every 1, 2, 3, 4, somebody just died of starvation every 4 seconds. Not starvation related issues, but starvation in and of itself, not having enough food, when we have enough food on this planet to be able to feed everybody. And so as we're heading into this fourth quarter and you're finishing out your year strong, I'm going to put together something towards the end of the year where we can all come together and set some objectives together, and as Misfit Nation. And as I was thinking about this subject, I started thinking about, there's two types of people in this world. And to be frankly honest with you, we've all been one or the other. We've been somebody who complains, or we've been somebody who's creating. And all of us have been in that position before. So to say that we've been 100% creator in our life would be a lie. To say that we've been 100% complainer in our life, there are people out there that have decided to do nothing but complain, to just find all of the things that are being created around them and find a hole to poke, just to poke a hole in everybody's concepts, everybody's ideas. Oh, you want to live a better life? Why? How dare you? Who do you think you are? Right? And I picked out 3 really unique individuals that have had an impact as I do research. And those of you know I'm a huge history buff. But I picked out 3 very unique individuals out of history to sort of make my point of where you are. Because again, these Facebook Lives, when I do Just Jason Mondays, which happens to be on a Sunday, I know Brian Sly pointed that out earlier, but when I do these things, it has very little to do with me and more to do with us collectively as the Misfit Nation and what we are attempting to do. Because I've learned through the business world, through the 501c3 world, I've realized that there's very little that I can do as an individual. Doesn't matter how much money I make, it's still a little drop in the bucket compared to what's out there. It doesn't matter what I can do as an individual to go on these rescues or to feed people or to reach into a new Dawn's world to help domestic violence. That's only one Jason. There's only one Jason. And so there's a multiplicity, a multiplying effect when we all come together around a common theme. And that common theme for Misfit Nation is easing suffering, right? There's doesn't have to be a definition of what that means. I have my thing that I'm passionate about. You may have your thing. Our things may align, but they may not align. And at the end of the day, if you're not, sorry, there's someone in there. I think I might. Maybe we ought to do a mirror check before we do that. Or maybe this is just really good red wine. So the idea here for Misfit Nation is for us as a group of human beings to figure out what we are uniquely imbued with, the talent that we're uniquely imbued with to ease suffering in our world. Because again, if you've been here for more than 5 minutes, in the Misfit Nation, you're going to understand that I have a simple belief that I'm put here on this earth to get to be the best that I possibly can, but for the purpose of serving other people. And in service of other people, that means that I must, it means that I absolutely must become humble, right? I must have a humility. I got it. I knew this was going to cause it. As soon as I saw it, look, it's still there. I don't know what it is. It comes and it goes. Oh, hell. Whatever. I don't really care. It obviously. So, but as we take a look at, and again, remember, do not think about this from Jason Sisneros' perspective, right? Think about it from yours, from your perspective, from where you sit, from the chair that you're watching this Facebook Live on, whether you're live with me right now or whether you are watching this in the replay. 2020 is about to get real, y'all. I'm going to put out a post in a couple of days about why the number 20 is so important to me. But it's doubled up, right? The year 2020 is doubled up for me. And my birthday is on the 22nd of October, right? So there's all kinds of things that are going on that I think that I feel like in my spirit, in my soul, that everything has built to this moment so that 2020, we can rocket through the moon. And I started thinking back through history. I think about all of you. I think about Noel. I think about Sandy. I think about Lauren. I think about the people that anybody that I'm watching that's on here that's part of Misfit Nation. Bonnie, Patricia, Lisa Ann, Kat, Christopher Kaysen, Brooke, Amy, all of you all. You all have a stated goal. You all have a stated outcome. Oliver, I don't know you yet. I don't know your story, where you come from, but it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, the three people that I'm going to mention, like Muhammad Ali, they were all people just like us. Muhammad Ali was just a person like us that had some talent. That was like, what do I do with my life? Cassius Clay was his given name, but he fought against that because he didn't believe in it. He became a Sunni Muslim and stood up for his own rights, and he believed in what he believed. But think about for just a second that every single one of you that's out there watching this at some level for something, maybe it's not boxing, maybe it's not speaking, maybe it's not being an author, whatever the case may be. But you're a Muhammad Ali with a specific skill set and a specific talent and a specific ability that I don't have, that nobody else on the face of the planet has, that you've been distracted from and pushed away from. What if Muhammad Ali would have believed the things that you've been told? What if Muhammad Ali would have believed that he needed to stay Cassius Clay? That he needed to not, don't try that boxing thing. Don't try that, Cassius, don't try that boxing thing. You need to stay over here. You need to work in the factory. You need to stay put. Don't believe, don't reach out, don't go train, don't go stepping up, especially back then. Remember that racism was at a super high level when Muhammad Ali was there. Right? When he was Cassius Clay. There was no reason why he should step into the white man's world and to excel. There's no reason for it. You go on to Joan of Arc, right? Another one. Literally, like when you look up Joan of Arc, the name that comes up is a French saint. A French saint. When you hear she was burned at the stake for heresy, right? When you think about the people that are out there in life, what if she decided if Joan of Arc decided, I'm not going to be Joan of Arc today. I'm going to be Aunt Joni, right? I'm going to be Aunt Joni. Or I'm going to believe somebody that says, you know what? In our time, women don't say shit. They're basically property. What if Joan of Arc would have believed that? Joan of Arc paid with her life, y'all, at the stake. What about Nikola Tesla? Nikola Tesla, right? Battling one of the greatest marketing minds of all time in Edison. This is all historical stuff. What if Nikola Tesla would have said, you know what? It's Edison's world. It's Edison's world. You got to play in it. Whatever you're thinking in your mind, like all of those what about all of those things that are set against you, Nikola? Right? Why would you come out, Mr. Tesla? Why do you think that your ideas are good? Why do you think that anybody's going to listen to you? To the point where he lost his job because he disagreed, because he had a disagreement. He was like, I won a contest. When I was working for Edison, I didn't get paid my money. It started that whole brawl between him and Edison. It started the whole brawl. And Nikola got fired when he was like, dude, you owe me 50 grand because my shit's better than yours. Like, I figured out ways to go. And you owe me 50 grand. And he got fired from that position. He ended up digging ditches for Edison, for the Edison phone company. But he never forgot who he was, that he was Nikola fucking Tesla. Yes, he was eccentric. Yes, he could have used a lot of people skills. There's all kinds of stuff that went along, but he didn't shut down his brilliance to make everyone around him feel good. And I just want you to think about your own life. Where have you shut down your brilliance? Where have you stepped back instead of stepping forward? I just want you to think about that for a second, because these Facebook Lives are fucking never about me. They're never about me. They're always about you. They're always about us as a team, as a group of human beings that have come together around this idea of Misfit Nation. It's something that y'all that I'm willing to put my life on the line for, because it has, as it has developed, as it has risen to the top, as it has sort of shown itself, the people that are always here, consistently here, that are watching, the names that are on here, right? I just saw Todd Hart coming here. We are all gathered together. Kimberly, Robert Brooker, all of us are gathered together. We're gathered together around a voltage, like Oliver says, right? We're drawn together for a purpose. And I don't want to fuck around with that purpose anymore. That's what the purpose of tonight's meeting, tonight's Facebook Live is about, this announcement that there's been a few reasons why I haven't been able to announce some of the stuff that's going to be going on, but you all are going to be the first ones to know what we've got planned and coming up in 2020. And so as I look back over the Muhammad Alis of the world, as I look back over the Joan of Arcs, of the Nikola Teslas, again, those of you that have followed anything that I do, you know that I'm a giant proponent of history. And as I look back over history, when I looked back to about 8 years ago when I had to start making different decisions, I didn't have to start making different decisions, but I had to take a serious look at my life. Just like I'm asking you to tonight and for every day for the rest of your life, are you ready to be who you know you were meant to be? Are you ready to step up? Are you ready to step out? Are you ready to take your skill sets and to apply them to easing suffering in the world? And if you are, then let's go, right? And one of the things that I've done is I've been a part of, I'm paying very close attention to you guys' comments tonight, by the way. And because I want to see that, right? I want to hear from y'all, because what I'm about to tell you is something that I never wanted to do. It's not something that I started out thinking, oh, blah, blah. And those of you that know me, you're close to me, you know that I have been very, very careful about the stages that I speak on, to the detriment of numbers, by the way, okay? Those of you that are close to me, you understand what I mean, okay? I could have been on much bigger stages. I could have driven this out if it was just a commercial message that I was interested in getting out there. I've been invited to be on some mighty big stages, right? And some mighty big shows. But this is not about a financial gain for me. This is about leaving a legacy. And I believe that Misfit Nation can be something that started up innocently. You know, those of you that have been paying attention, watch the very first Facebook Live I did. The very first Facebook Live I did showed up on my deal, and it was, somebody mentioned it, and they're like, this is the first one I saw. It was the very first Facebook Live that I did. And I was in my car, and it was the day after having watched the movie, The Abolitionist. And The Abolitionist, those of you who don't know that or haven't seen that movie, it's about Operation Underground Railroad and Tim, who's a dear friend of mine now, Tim going out and doing rescues of these underage slaves, little girls and little boys that are being used for sex, 50, 30, 45 bucks a night, sometimes 10 and 12 times a night. And I watched that movie and I look back, on the fact that I wasn't, I was doing business, I was helping charities, I was doing those things, but something inside of me lit up when I saw what was going on. And there's 2 to 5 million little girls and little boys around the world that have been ripped away from their family, sold by their family, in different instances that are being traded for the purposes of disgusting fucking human beings, in my opinion. Okay? Pastor Rudy wouldn't want me to say that because he loves all people, but that changed me. It shifted something in me and you can see, like, literally the physicality on me. We talk about people being able to change their lives. It's their physiology, their focus, their language, and their emotion multiplied by intensity and repetition, right? That's how you change anything in life. But that something woke up in me and said, you know what, Jason, the way that you've been living your life, yes, you're paying your bills. Yes, you're doing good. You're good. Pat yourself on the fucking back. Break your arm patting yourself on the fucking back. But are you making a fucking difference? I was writing my obligatory checks to charities. I was writing my obligatory taxes, tax payment to the government. I was doing the obligatory things and looking around thinking that this world was about Jason Sisneros and that it was about, how much money I make and making sure I was in the right zip code, making sure I was driving the right car, making sure I was doing all of that stuff. And I woke up that morning going, fuck that. This is 100% bullshit that there's people out in this world that have to and are suffering because of my fucking selfish activities. And I couldn't contain myself. I drove my fucking car and I drove my fucking car and I drove my car and I pulled over on the side of the road when I left that. I wrote a big check, obviously, because I was passionate about it. But I pulled over on the side of the road because I couldn't see anymore because I was crying so fucking hard. I was crying so fucking hard because I'm thinking to myself, man, I've got 3 daughters. I've got 2 sons. What if it was one of them? What if it was one of them that got stolen? And it broke my heart. And I think that we really aren't born again, right? When you think about everything, and again, remember, think about it from your perspective, not from my seat. But when anything has ever changed in our life, it's because our heart was broken, but our spirit wasn't. Sometimes our hearts need to be broken so that it can break our ego, so that it can break through that outer crust. So, and you can't blame anybody. When you watch television, when you watch the news, we're trained at every perspective and every activity and every action in our lives. We're trained that we've got to be in this camp or that camp. And we got to be in this area code or that area code. We've got to be driving this kind of car or that kind of car to be seen as winners in this fucking life of ours. And that night broke my heart and it broke my mind into a million pieces to where I had to put together another reality, another thought process, just to look at what was my life and how was my life different, and what could I do, because it shifted from my life being about something about me, and it shifted into being something about other people, but I didn't know what to do next. I didn't know. And so I opened my heart and I said, God, universe, Jesus, Muhammad, whoever's out there listening right now, show me what I need to do, because I know that I'm capable of more than I'm doing right now. And I know you feel the same. I know that if you're watching this, the only reason you would be watching my bald ass right now is because you believe that there's something bigger inside of you, that you're capable of something more than you're doing right now. And you are, and I've seen the magic of that. And so it just, little bit by little bit, I ended up going on an undercover mission. I ended up meeting other organizations that did the same work. All of this work led me to a man by the name of Pastor Rudy, who is the head, the heart, the soul of an organization called CERT Ministries, S-E-R-T, CERT Ministries. And his organization, the reason why it aligns with me is because they do so much. If somebody calls them up and says, my little girl has just been abducted or stolen or is missing, they throw all of their resources towards that one little girl or towards that one little boy. They're recently just down in Mexico, and I can't say a lot about the mission because of privacy issues, but we had a 15-year-old that went missing and was taken, made it across the Mexican border, was going further and further south, and they found him. Some of these, and these are some of our bravest and best men and women on the planet, and had to get in and extract her and the team out, always under the threat of murder, always under the threat of being dead. And Pastor Rudy, if you get to know him, doesn't take anything financially, risk-wise. He's an executioner on the facts and his talent and what he does. And he says, you know what? If this has been put in my wheelhouse, the money will show up. The people will show up. The jet will show up to get us out when it needs to get us out. The things that need to show up will show up. And he believes this with every cell in his body. And so I think back to that day, and I think to myself, all of the things that I've done, all of the things that I've seen, which I only talk about one mission here for security's sake and for privacy's sake and for all of the other things that go in here. But I will tell you, on almost 20 missions that I've been on now, it would break your soul to see the things that I've seen, to see what humans are capable of in harming each other. And to know that changes you, and I'm not 100% sure that it's a good, like if I could go back to the innocent, far from innocent, obviously, but because of the way that I was raised and the shit that I've seen, but none of it was the pure evil that I've seen since I've been involved in that side of the equation. And it's fundamentally shifted me as a human being. It's fundamentally shifted a lot of you because you've gone through this, right? You've gone through this with me, and you've experienced it with me. And the very first mission, the only one that I ever talked about for specific reasons, is because they wanted me to go on that mission so that I would start getting the word out, so that people would hear, that they would start to understand that it could be your daughter, that it could be your wife, that it could be your mother, that it could be anyone, it could be your son that's just ripped out of your heart or ripped out of your life for the purposes of trading like a commodity. And so I went on the road, immediately started talking about that stuff. It changed me as a person. It got me invited on different missions with different organizations and different beings and different human beings. And it led me to Pastor Rudy. And so the announcement that I'm going to make tonight, a reason I bring all of this up is because a lot of what's going to happen in 2020 is going to be focused around Pastor Rudy and his family, his beautiful, beautiful family. They operate, 130 plus kids last year. They throw every asset that they have on every single case that they get. And they're focused here in the United States. I've been doing most of the work in fact, all of the work except for with Pastor Rudy has been focused overseas. And this is an organization that deserves some light. It deserves some attention. And I want you to know that part of my announcement tonight that I'm about to make is focused directly on the idea that Pastor Rudy needs us. He's not a salesperson. the first time I met him, I was speaking at an event called Save the Next Girl and Boy. And one of the things that I learned there was he was like, I hate going on stage and asking for money, you know. So 130 plus kids that he got out, it was for less than $100,000 because he just goes and he just expects things to show up and resources to show up and so on and so forth. And it just blows me away that he can do that kind of work with that kind of money. And so anyway, so a large portion of this. So there's a chink, right? And think about it again, not from what I'm about to announce and what I'm about to tell you, but I want you to think about it from your own life. What are the things that have been linking together for you for 2020 to be your year, for you to finish out this year with momentum? Because I'm telling you that October, November, and December are usually when quitters quit. Usually when people who are soft soften up even more. Those people that at the end of the year, they go, well, Christmas is coming up. You know, Thanksgiving's coming up. You know, all of these different things. And I'm not a 100, because I like to take time for myself. I like to celebrate with my family. I like to celebrate with the people that are around me. But the last quarter of the year is what sets up your following year, right? It's what sets up your following year if you're not soft. So that was the what led to it. The very first Facebook Live that then led to more Facebook Lives, that then led to the creation of the Bald Avenger, right? Which is a silly name, right? It's a silly name. And Wendy's on here and she's saying that Lisa Ann saying it's stuff like that doesn't happen in my zip code. Look, at the end of the day, anybody that says that little girls and little boys aren't being abducted from your zip code, they're fucking morons at this point. It happens everywhere. And it's getting worse. It's one of the fastest growing crimes on the face of the planet. So thank you for bringing that up, Lisa Ann. Wendy says, I have 4 daughters. They definitely say, fuck a person up. Look, at the end of the day, I know that every single person who's had one of their children abducted thinks the exact same thing. But you don't know where they go. You don't know where they went. You don't know where they take them, right? If you don't have somebody like a Pastor Rudy in your back pocket, you don't have an organization like certain ministries, you don't have a project like the Slave Free Project that we're going to be launching in 2020, you don't have something like that going off, who do you go to? Go to the police, right? Missing persons report. Another 20 days goes by, right? 20 days at the end of the day, you get past that missing persons thing. They can be in 20 days. Think about one day, how far away you can get in 24 hours, much less 20 days, with not having the right support behind you. So all of that links together to a point where those of you, again, that have been following me, you know that I had a big exit out of a bunch of my companies, freed me up. I didn't exactly know what I was going to do, other than I knew I was going to continue in the philanthropic side of things that I do. I knew that I was going to, continue to grow, to put some support behind, A New Dawn, which is domestic violence's greatest hope in this country, I think. I think that behind certain ministries, because what they do and how they do it should be duplicated. Awareness versus action on the certain ministries, and then still behind Feed a Billion, right? Which I'm still happen to be the CEO of, where we are wanting to raise 1 billion meals, because I think that a lot of this insecurity happens because people are they're meal or food insecure. But I won't go. That's not the purpose of tonight's live. I wanted you to think about the Muhammad Alis of the world. I wanted you to think about the Joan of Arcs of the world. I wanted you to think about the Nikola Teslas of the world. And I want you to think about you. Because I think so much time and effort and energy is put into people wanting you to be in their funnel. I've never fucking built a funnel in my life. people that are part of the Misfit Nation, people that have taken the G-Spot, over $2 million worth of people that have taken the 12-week business course that I built, which I believe is the first, last, and only business course you'll ever need, that have been there. I haven't spent $1 of advertising on any of it. I haven't spent $1 of advertising of building Misfit Nation. I haven't spent $1 of fucking advertising because, you know, at the end of the day, no matter how small, right? You watch the movie 300. You guys have heard me reference it before. 300 highly trained, highly committed warriors were able to hold off an onslaught of a horde in history of the tens of thousands for a period of time. They died, right, where they were. They obviously lost, but it wasn't like they didn't put up a hell of a fucking fight. We're all going to die, y'all. We're all going to die. But I'm going to put up a hell of a fight. And I want to fight with you. I want to fight with us. I want us to come together. I want Democrats and Republicans. I want all of us to come together and stop fucking worrying about division and who's got power and who's good. It's all around easing suffering, right? It's all around easing suffering. So the announcement that I have to make tonight is what's going to be happening in 2020. And I have struggled against this. Those of you that know the 12, you know, again, those of you that have been following, you understand that it took my team 3 years to convince me to do a digital training course for business owners because I didn't want to be out there in the world of the newest Facebook gurus. You know, good for them. You know, not here to beat up on anybody, but my shit's real. I've had since I was 15 years old and got kicked out of the house. I've had to put a roof over my head and food in my belly and food in my family's belly. And that has not been from bullshit funnels. It's been from taking radically good care of my customers and radically good care of my employees, right? And all of that has a strategy and a system and that's what led to the 12-week course that now is changing the world and helping people make more money and stepping up. I mean, again, everybody that's on here that's taken the G-Spot course, they'll talk about it from their own experience. I know everybody that's here. I know how much more money they're making. I know how much better their career is going. I know all of that. That's for them to say, not for me to say. But add another opportunity, and so here's what's going to be happening. That I could, and I put it out about a year ago. I started talking about this concept about a year ago. And I asked the question, I said, you know, who would like this sort of event? You know, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of you came back and said, I would like that kind of event. And one person came back and said, I don't want that event. And it was Danielle, who's been my executive assistant for the last 3 years. She's been with me for 5 years. She's an amazing human being. But she's like, oh my God, not another event, right? And so I've teamed up with some really amazing people. Thomas McDonald is the guy that convinced me finally to do this. But we're going to do next year, February 27th, 28th, and 29th, at the Ritz-Carlton in Naples, Florida, an event. It's actually a one-day event. It's actually a two-day event, so I don't know why we got the 27th to the 29th. I'll have to confirm that for you. So, Thomas, if you're watching, make sure you get the dates up here. I believe you fly in the 27th, and then we do the 28th is a full day of, hang on, let me just double check here real quick. Yep, so 28th and 29th, those are the 2 days. You fly in on the 27th. So at the Ritz-Carlton, we're going to be putting this out. You're getting pre-notice. There'll be a link tomorrow, and there's no links, no lives. But it's going to be Jason Sisneros approved speakers. Those of you know that I don't step on the stage with a whole bunch of other people. I pull myself off the stages that are not built in integrity, and again, it was the title of this event, which was, I can complain about the content that's going on out there. You know, all these events that are just stages to pitch and to sell and to, and the same old circle of people that just keep profiting off of everybody else. And I could complain about it till I'm fucking blind. I could complain about it until I'm deaf. I could complain about it till all of my voice, right, is out of my head. Or I could take the same reason that Joe Callow challenged me to build a 12-week course, was to say, Jason, if you're out there to ease suffering, your greatest asset is helping people make money because you had to do it with no education, without graduating from high school, and do all that shit. Now I've spoken at Harvard, I've done all these things, and people from Yale, from Harvard, from Wharton School of Business, from Oxford, they're the ones that bring my company, Anton J. Global, in to do consulting for their companies. Why wouldn't you do that for people that are trying to start their own business or be able to make money? Why wouldn't you do it? And Joe hit me right in the heart, because he's right. If more people are making more money, you have more power to be able to do the things that you want to do, right? Now, the same thing that Thomas did with me. He said, Jason, if we don't do our own event, all you're going to be doing is complaining about other people's events. They're taking advantage of other people and stepping on, random stages that happen to be with good people, but maybe have smaller audiences. Why don't we do this shit ourselves? And I said, game on. So the full day event on February 28th is called Unstoppable. Here's one promise I will make you, is that I'm going to be there. And anybody that's heard me speak, anybody that's ever heard me, if you think I bring it for other people's event, wait till you fucking see my own event. Okay? Wait till you see my own event. So on the 28th, we're going to have a full entire day with the speakers that I personally choose that are going to be there, that are going to add value to you. Now, here's what I have determined, just some ground rules, right? Just for some ground rules, because again, those of you know I sold my businesses. I'm good money-wise. I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this for impact. So we're going to keep the prices low. We're going to keep the accessibility to be easy, but the work is going to be hard. Because a lot of you go to these sessions and these events, and it's a great big, you leave pumped up. And look, I'm a big fan of being pumped up. I'm a big fan of being excited. I'm a big fan of motivation. I'm a big fan of all of that. But what I'm not a fan of is that that's all you get. And anybody that has been associated with anything that I ever do, you know that the power is in the do. The power is not in, yes, we get excited, but that emotion and that power and that execute, all of that energy is supposed to be used for us to be able to go do something different. It's to modify and change our behavior. There will be nobody on my stage that isn't there to give you a strategy of what to do the next day. So if you're coming for a big pump-up session, you're going to get motivated, you're going to get excited. But if you're looking for an actual strategy for you to be able to execute, then come. If you're looking for a pump you up session and to join a group of people, because guess who's going to show up? I can name 20 people that are on here right now that guarantee you, come hell or high water, they're going to be in the room. Why? Because they're Misfit Nation. And Misfit Nation is about you absolutely showing up and taking responsibility for yourself, right? Being surrounded by other people who will lift you up. They're not going to take the weakest version of you. None of these people that are on this list right now, if you're watching this on the replay, anybody that you heard me mention their name, none of these people are going to show, right? So at the end of the day, that's the 28th. The 29th is going to be my favorite part. The 29th is going to be the Misfit Ball. We've been talking about it for years, y'all. We have been talking about this for years. And the Misfit Ball is going to be an evening where we all get dressed up and we have some entertainment and we get to celebrate together for the work that we did on the 28th. And we get to and there'll be some surprise entertainment. There's going to be, again, it's the first The Bald Avenger event. It's the first Jason Cisneros event ever. You're going to want to be there, right? You're going to want to be there. So that's the 28th and 29th. So the announcement is that, and we're going to do more of these, okay? The purpose of doing the one on the 28th and the 29th in Naples, Florida at the Ritz-Carlton, again, the prices are going to be very affordable. We're going to have a regular, all of this stuff will be available tomorrow. Nobody knows it. Nobody, we don't even have the link done yet. It's going to be done tomorrow. I wanted Misfit Nation to be the first ones to know. And what we're going to do is we'll have some VIP, we'll have some, regular, all that kind of stuff. But what we're committing to do with this event next year is to cover the slave-free project operational fees for the entire year. Okay, and I called Pastor Rudy. He was on a mission undercover. The guy's always doing this work. And my commitment as for Misfit Nation is, regardless of what happens next year, CERT Ministries, the Slave Free Project, that their operational fees are going to be covered, and that's about $150,000. Okay, so it all ties together. I'm doing something that I never wanted to do. I'm doing it with a group of people that I fucking love and I fucking adore, that I know have gone to multiple events, that have spent money, that have spent the time and gone and not gotten what they needed to get to be able to execute on their own lives. Now, again, you have to understand that if you're going to be a part of this, that you've got to understand that this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is not a come to hear everybody on stage sell and pitch. I'm going to invite the people that I want to learn from and that I have learned from to come on stage and teach you exactly what to do to be able to execute on taking your game to the next level. Again, it's going to be fun. It's going to be great networking. Out of that, what will happen on the very next day is something that Misty Lane suggested a long time ago, was I'm going to launch a specific page for Misfit Nation certified businesses so that, we can do some due diligence on these people. And if you need marketing, if you need advertising, if you need, for getting your drains unclogged at your house, that we have different businesses that will be vetted so that we know that they won't screw you, okay? Because it's going to be Misfit Nation. Our job is to take care of each other. And I'm going to continue to support at a super high level, Feed a Billion. I'm going to continue to support A New Dawn on the domestic violence side. And I want to resource Pastor Rudy, who hates asking for money and puts his life on the line every single day for an individual child, right? It's just one child is abducted, and he puts his entire team, he puts his life on his line. He goes into the deepest, darkest parts of Mexico and to other countries to pull that child back into their family. And I want to resource them. I want Misfit Nation to be the ones that paid their entire operational fees of about $150,000. Okay, so that's my commitment for next year. There's going to be a lot more announcements. I'm going to be announcing each speaker as they come on, as they're going to be a part of Misfit Nation. People that you'll have heard of and people that you will not have heard of, much like my shows, right? A lot of times when you're watching The Bald Avenger, you go, holy shit, I've never heard of that person. Now, the last piece of this is that for us as Misfit Nation to be able to do all of the things that we do, I built a 12-week course so that we can be financially secure and be able to lift ourselves up. We're building a way for us to be in proximity to each other called the Unstoppable, right? I am unstoppable. Hashtag I am unstoppable. If you start hashtagging it now, we'll spread the word. I want you to come and I want you to bring 5 people with you, right? So we're going to have proximity. We're going to be able to educate ourselves. We're going to be able to lift each other up. And on the other side of this, on the other side of that equation, is taking care of ourselves health-wise. In the next 2 weeks, I'm going to bring on, I partnered, I brought up a branding and marketing company up underneath of Anton J. And on the other side of the equation, I've just partnered in one of the most powerful, we'll call it vitality enhancing businesses. Again, for myself, you guys know I went through damn near a near-death experience with having E. coli, and I just went through all kinds of research to get myself healthy. I've discovered a lot of things about GMOs, about glyphosates in the soil, and what's happening with all the anti-inflammatory or the inflammatory diseases, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to be releasing out again into Misfit Nation, a way for us to take better care of ourselves, for our energy to be better, and for us to get rid of some of this shit that we've been dealing with for so many years. I did it. I know a lot of you are dealing with it right now because of our food. Our food is killing us. So all of this is coming to play in 2020. And it's things that you've asked for. I'm going to be just doing, it's about adding value for me from here on out. I am unstoppable is the event. Misfit Ball. Like, I'm just telling you, Misfit Ball, the night we all celebrate together, there's going to be some awards for people. We're going to have some amazing entertainment. And it's going to be a chance for us to celebrate and for us to get together. Those of you know, I put my hands on a few events, but they haven't been my events. And when I put my hands on different events, you know that spirit is family. And this is going to be a Jason Sisneros event and the Bald Avenger event. And it's going to have all of that combined. And we're gonna work in 2020 like we've never worked before. If you're coming, exactly. Kimberly says, don't forget the growl. It's not going to be a Jason Cisneros event if there's not a Bald Avenger Gorilla Growl. And so that's going to happen. But that's the big announcement, y'all. We're doing an event. It's going to be called I Am Unstoppable. We're going to do a Misfit Ball the next night. We're going to raise a bunch of money and for Pastor Rudy and for his amazing work and his amazing family. So I'm excited. I never thought, like I said, I never thought that I would do it. Good. Oliver, you're obviously good. We're going to have a vetting. We've got an entire team that's being put together that as soon as the next day after we get out of that event, we're going to start vetting and approving Misfit Nation approved businesses. And you get one chance. You get one chance. You fuck over anybody in Misfit Nation, you're out. You're out. Not only are you out, but you will be blackballed. Everybody will know your name. If you take care of people, you'll be celebrated. And that's kind of the way that we want to look at the rest of this. I'm taking responsibility for it, y'all. You all have shown up in a big way as Misfit Nation, and I love you. I fucking love you people. There's been a lot of requests for this to happen. I've been pushing it off and pushing it off and pushing it off, hoping somebody else would put together what we've decided to put together, hoping that I didn't need to put my energy and effort into this. But so be it. So be it. I'm doing it so that you do it, because I know that you have something special to offer. I know that you're not operating at your optimal capacity. And when you do, you're going to change the world. And so all I can do and all you can do is lead by example. And if there's a bunch of us doing it together, I have no idea what we're able to accomplish. I don't know, but I can tell you that the world needs us. It's divided. It's split. We're fighting for no reason, for the color of skin, for whether we're a Democrat or whether we're a Republican, which is all stupid shit. Our hearts all want the same thing. We want for us to be able to become the best we can be so that we can serve other people, and we want our family to be safe, and we want to be able to take care of ourselves. That's it. That's all. Okay? So I think that it's time to ramp this up. It's not me putting my name on another event. It's me putting my name on my event. And I can tell you that the team that we've got put together and the speakers that have already said yes, this is going to be something special. As Lauren Harris likes to say, there's never There's never another first, and this is going to be the first event, but it's going to be the first of many. I want to overtake the attendance, the impact of all of these other events that you're seeing happen around you that I believe are in it for commercial purposes. I want to do it, and I want to take over the world of impact. I want us to radically shift our own behavior and help shift the behavior of other people, because in this world, you're either going to be a critic or a contender. And I know if you're part of Misfit Nation, you want to be a contender, because critics are a dime a dozen. You know, I can't remember there was a cartoon that was out there, and it was Ratatouille was the cartoon, right? And there was this critic that was in it, and he said at the end of the day, he goes, "Look, most of the things that are created in life," and I'm going to completely botch it, so you'll be look it up, but I'm just inspired to say it. But he said at the end of the day, a critic's words, the most powerful critic's words, are less impactful than the worst creator's creation, because at least they tried, right? And at least they put their word out there. At least they put that out into the world to be judged or to be seen or to be improved upon. And this is at the end of almost 3 years of just a random going to watch a movie and then sitting in my car crying my eyes out and pounding the steering wheel, and to build and to build and to build and to build to this moment. I'm proud to announce that on February 28th and 29th in Naples, Florida at the Ritz-Carlton, we're going to have our very first I Am Unstoppable event, capped off by the Misfit Ball, which will raise money for certain ministries in the Slave Free Project. I'm grateful for all of you. I'm thankful for all of you. Y'all have shared this. These Just Jason Monday shows are hitting 50 to 75,000 people now per week, which is crazy to me. And it just raises my level of responsibility to you all as a representative and a member of the Misfit Nation. Some would say the king of the Misfit Nation and legend in my own mind. But I'm just grateful. I'm super grateful for y'all, and I want everybody to be with me. If you want to be a part of this movement of Misfit Nation, that's where we kick it off. It's going to be at that event. I want you there. I want to hug you. I want to high five you. I want you to meet the other members of Misfit Nation. So please do whatever you possibly can. Keep an eye out for the link. It's not even live yet. We're not ready to start selling tickets and whatnot, but we're going to keep the price very reasonable. But I want you there, and I want to really rock 2020. By the end of 2020, I want people going, who the fuck is Misfit Nation? And what the hell are they up to? Y'all good with that? Y'all good with that? Awesome and amazing. The last drink in the glass is to you, my friends, and to the world changers, and to you stepping up and to being way more than you ever thought you could ever be in this world, because you're surrounded by the Misfit Nation, that we have been invisible. We haven't spoken up because we've been allegedly by ourselves, and now we're gathering together. It's a mission. It's an outcome. It's a momentum. It's all of us coming together to improve not only our lives, but to help ease the suffering of those people who have lost something that we have, whether you realize it or not. What we have is choice. And what we need to do is to free those that don't have choice. So this is to you, Misfit Nation. I love you, and I appreciate you. Share the shit out of this message. Start gathering up people that you know their lives will change if they come and join us in Naples on the 28th. This is to you.